Point, Alaska, the furthest westerly highway point in North America. So this is my hive. I've got this ready. You see, I left the frames out of one of these shallow boxes. That's because I'm going to place this in there. I'm actually going to do two like that. So I'm going to take a second shallow box and put it on there just because it's cold. And I want them to have time to go inside the hive. So, pulling these out. And this is just going to be for temporary. So you can see I'm putting two shallow boxes, one on top of the other. And then I'm going to set the queen cage there. And then I'm going to put my bee box there after I remove the syrup deal. I'm going to shake as many bees as I can out, and then I'm just going to let the rest crawl out of the box. So here's my bees. Comes with a thing of sugar syrup in a can there. Get that out of the way and move it so you don't step on that staple. And then we can, sorry about the camera work here, but there's a little bit of fussing with this to get this off. And then the queen cage is hanging in there on this piece of plastic tab. So what I'll do first is I'll use my tool to get under the edge of this can. I'll pry this can up to where I grab it, and then I'll tap this box so all the bees fall off the can so I don't squish a bunch of them. And then I'll pull this out, I'll slide my queen cage out, and there's a little plastic cap. I'll pull that off, and there's a piece of candy in there that keeps the queen from coming out too early. If she comes out too early, the bees will kill her. But with the candy on there, they get to know her scent, and then they'll release her and eat that candy out of the way, and they'll feed her the whole time that they're going to release her because she can't eat on her own. So the worker bees will continue to give her sugar syrup and feed her, and then in 3 days she'll be out and she'll be roaming around, and I'll just leave this hive closed for a week and I won't mess with nothing. And so everyone gets acclimated, she gets in there working, they have time to clean out the old hive, the old wax, get it all nice and ready for her, and she'll move in and she'll start laying eggs in a circular pattern in probably one of the middle frames. So we'll get the process going, and I'll just set the camera back and try to find a good spot here you can watch it from. Probably just go right here for now and let you watch me work. Got the can, lift it up a little bit. It's hard to get a hold of, especially with beekeeper's gloves on. Now I can set my tool down. My cage slides easy there, so I don't want to like hammer it down super hard, but I'm just going to give it a rap to get the bees off the can. There we go. And my sugar syrup can was empty because it was a turbulent flight, so I'm going to need to feed these bees tonight. And these guys ain't going to be so hapsy. So now this is the queen cage. I can see my queens nice and lively inside there and moving around. So now I pull this plastic cap off and check the candy, and the candy's good. You can see there's still good candy on there. So I'm just going to set her on top of the frames where she can't fall in between. and they'll do all the work for me of releasing her over the next 3 days. So now I used my tool. We're installing this thing of Quebec bees into my beehives. I've got my beehive open and enough room to put this box in there after I shake my bees out. But I grab this can on the edge, lift it up a little bit, and then I tap this box of bees down so they come off the can. And now what I'll do is slide the queen cage out, pull that out, pull this cap off the queen cage, and check the end of it to make sure there's candy in there. And you can see that the queen's inside there, and there's the candy that keeps her from coming out too early, because if she comes out too early, they'll kill her. So now what we're going to do is take these bees and put them in here. Let's let you see, I'm just shaking these bees out into this box. Look. It takes a little bit of shaking to get them out of there, but they'll come out of there and they'll work on feeding that queen. But since there was a turbulent flight and this can of sugar syrup was empty, I need to go in and make some sugar syrup right away and get my feeder going so they have something to feed her. A lot of times I'll just take this wrap right out of the way. Take all this wrap right out of the way. You can see all the bees in there. I'll try to shake as many bees as I can. Right down inside that box. And you're never going to get them all out of there. But if you just leave this right here, some bees will start fanning. And they'll actually call the rest of these workers down into that hive. So I got just about all my bees in there. There's always going to be some stragglers, but they'll make it in there. we go. Now I got just about everything out of there. Now I can put my cover back on. And I'll get my feeder ready. And since I was able to get this all back on there, they'll get drawn down to her once I cover this. And then I'll be able to set my feeder, which is the same shape as that, with the sugar syrup in there. 2 to 1 this time. 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. Stir it and stir it and stir it until it's clear. And then they'll eat that. And you'll have to make sure that they have it until all these flowers start to bloom. You see, I got a lot of snow here yet, so I'm gonna have to feed them for a while. I got pussy willows in bloom over there, so that's lots of pollen, but not lots of nectar. And what you'll see happen here in a little bit is some of these bees are going to come out of this hive and they're going to be pointed backwards with their butts facing this way, and they're going to be fanning the pheromones from that queen so that these other bees knows that she's in there, and they'll start crawling in there on their own. It's a little bit cold. I wish it was warmer, but you can see they already know she's in there. So they're going back. Try to shake as many of the ones that were protecting her off me so that they go back home. There's always going to be a few. That's not horrible. You can see I even had my arm exposed. I didn't get stung yet. So that's how you install a package of bees. And once I go back in there, I might do a video putting the sugar syrup in later, but I probably won't do it tonight. We'll just let everyone calm down and get situated. What I'm going to do instead, I think, is set up my feeder with some sugar syrup down here and let it just kind of stick inside the edge there so they can come over here and get some feed. Yeah, that's installing a bee package. I'm going to cover this up so they don't keep trying to get in this one. These are shallow frames. These go in the supers that you put on top. But what you want to do is let the bees fill the deep boxes up. These are the deeps, and this is where the queen will raise all the brood. This is a queen excluder that keeps the queen, because the workers can get through this, but the queen's too big and she can't. This will keep the workers from getting, or the queen from getting out and laying brood in the supers that you want the honey in. I'll get this back on there quick. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy. There, that'll keep them out of there. And you can already see, remember how I said that one was going to be, they're going to start fanning? That one's already letting the other bees know, hey, here's our new home, come on in.